This scam used fear, embarrassment, and urgency to extract money within hours from victims across the world. Across the US, UK, Europe, and Asia, individuals received messages claiming their private images or videos had been recorded. The threat was immediate: pay now, or the content would be sent to family, friends, or publicly exposed online. In many cases, no real content existed, but the panic was strong enough to trigger instant payment. Scammers used hacked data, old passwords, or basic personal details to make the threat feel credible. Payments were demanded through cryptocurrency, gift cards, or untraceable transfer methods. Authorities reported losses ranging from hundreds to tens of thousands of dollars per victim. What made this scam effective was not proof, but the speed at which fear overrode verification. As online communication expanded, personal interactions increasingly moved to private digital spaces. Social media apps, messaging apps, and video platforms became routine parts of daily life. People shared images, conversations, and personal details with a level of trust built on convenience. At the same time, large-scale data breaches exposed emails, passwords, and personal identifiers. This information circulated widely on underground forums and was reused across multiple scams. Many users were unaware that old credentials could still be accessed years later. In reported cases across the US and Europe, victims recognized their own passwords in scam messages. This created a sense that the threat was real, even when no actual compromise had occurred. The scam usually began with a direct message or email sent without prior interaction. The message claimed that the victim's device had been hacked or remotely accessed. It often included a previously used password to immediately establish credibility. Some versions stated that the scammer had recorded private activity through the camera. Others claimed access to personal contacts, threatening to distribute the content widely. The tone was direct, urgent, and designed to leave no time for questioning. In multiple cases across Asia and Europe, identical templates were reused with minor personalization. At this stage, the scam relied entirely on creating belief before any proof was requested. Once the message was read, the scam moved quickly to establish a deadline for payment. Victims were told they had a limited window, often 24 to 48 hours, before the content would be released. The instructions were clear: send money through cryptocurrency to avoid detection. No negotiation was encouraged, and silence was framed as confirmation that the threat would proceed. The message often included technical language to simulate real hacking activity. In many cases, identical wallet addresses were reused across multiple victims. There was no actual follow-up evidence, only repeated reminders of the consequences. The system relied on immediate compliance rather than prolonged interaction or verification. As the scam proved effective, it scaled rapidly, using automated email and messaging systems. Large databases of leaked emails were used to send millions of messages at once. Templates were translated and adapted for different regions across Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Some operations ran continuously, sending waves of messages based on newly available data leaks. Reports showed the same script being reused, with only minor variations in wording and tone. In certain cases, follow-up messages were triggered automatically if no payment was detected. Victims were not individually targeted, but selected as part of a large volume system. What appeared personal was actually a mass-produced operation designed for global reach. Despite the intensity of the message, several patterns remained consistent across cases. No actual evidence or sample of the claimed content was ever provided. The same structure appeared in messages sent to thousands of unrelated recipients. Old or previously used passwords were presented as proof, even when they were no longer valid. Payment was always directed toward cryptocurrency wallets with no traceable identity. Language often included generic threats that did not reference specific personal details. Agencies like the Federal Trade Commission and Interpol highlighted these repeated indicators. The difficulty was that these signs became clear only after the initial fear response had already taken hold. As reports increased globally, agencies began tracking patterns across thousands of complaints. The Federal Bureau of Investigation issued alerts warning about large-scale sextortion email campaigns. Europol linked multiple cases to organized groups using bulk email infrastructure and cryptocurrency wallets. Investigators found that most messages were sent without any real device compromise or recorded content. Data analysis showed reused templates, repeated wallet addresses, and automated sending systems. In some cases, blockchain tracking helped identify clusters of payments flowing into connected wallets. Telecom and cybersecurity teams worked to block domains and flag known scam messages. The investigation confirmed that the scam operated on volume and fear, not on actual access to private data. This scam showed how easily fear can override rational verification in digital communication. The threat felt personal, even when it was generated at scale, with no real evidence behind it. A single familiar detail, like an old password, was enough to trigger immediate belief. The system relied on urgency and isolation, preventing victims from seeking confirmation. What failed was not technology, but the assumption that a message must be true if it feels real. Experts now emphasize pausing, verifying, and understanding how common these tactics have become. The broader risk extends beyond financial loss to psychological pressure and manipulation. The long-term lesson is clear. Not every urgent threat is real, but every response carries consequences.